What is good, guys? It's Monster Chappie, and we're back today looking at some Madden 13 rosters. And specifically, the reason we're looking at this is mainly for NCAA 14, Madden 25, and all future EA Sports football games. Now, one thing that I will say I've noticed from NCAA 13 to Madden 13 that they've started to implement into the game, and what I hope they take a step further is the player specific skill ratings and things like that. And what I mean by this is, say, for instance, if you take, Sean Green, who is a running back, and you decide to put him at wide receiver for whatever reason, as you can see, his awareness is an 80 right now. But when you move him to the wide receiver position, his awareness goes down to 64, which is a good thing. I definitely agree with that, and that's something they should continue to implement into the game. That was not so much the case in NCAA 13. What a lot of people would do was, just move guys all the way around from all kind of positions to other various positions for their physical attributes, and they would not lose the skill spots, the skills necessarily. So if a guy had a decent catch rating, but he only caught out the half or backfield in real life, you moved him out to the outside, they would still continue to hold that catch rating, even though that guy's not comfortable in that position. So I'm hoping that's something they get a little bit stricter on. But what I would also like to see with that being said is players like a Reggie Bush or, other guys that play multiple positions, is to get a secondary and possibly even a third position under their skills or whatever the case may be. So if you go to like player details, if they had, a possible skill or something, just some sort of rating or a trait or something where they would have a secondary position. So a player like Reggie Bush, primary position would obviously be halfback, but he's also played wide receiver, and you could put that as a secondary position for a guy like him. And, there's various other players in the league that are similar to that, maybe like a Darren McFadden. Another good one would be, he's now a Seahawk, but Percy Harvin, his primary position would be wide receiver, but you could have a secondary position as like a halfback. And, guys like Brad Smith, I think he's still he's still here. He could have like a secondary position of quarterback where, if they have that secondary position, what'll happen still is that there will be maybe a slight decline or no decline in the player's skills. As you can see, he's got a pretty good throw power and accuracy and all that good stuff. But what I would like to see is for players like that. So if I put Reggie Bush at the wide receiver position, as you can see, he's got a 85 overall as a halfback. But when you move him to wide receiver, his awareness goes down to, looks like a 68 here. So a player like him shouldn't see that decline or as steep of a decline, if you get what I mean. And other guys like that should also receive those benefits so that those types of players do have that option of being moved. And likewise, there's some times where there will be guys on a roster spot, for instance, I may want to start Miller at halfback and, at a tournament or some other locations, they don't want you to be able to put a halfback at wide receiver, even though we know in real life Reggie Bush sometimes does go out to that wide receiver position. There's other guys, one of them's getting locked up right now, so I'm not going to even speak on him. He's made quite a significant amount of mistakes. I'll just highlight his team here. I was going to talk about him, but nah, I can't even do it at this point. But there's other guys in the league that do these types of things as well. I believe the Packers, Randall Cobb will, have a secondary position as a halfback and things like that. So there are a significant number of guys in the league that this happens with. And Madden 13 seems to have gotten at least the decline part of it right. So if I go to the Jets here, one of the big things on NCAA last year that they didn't do was that kickers and guys like that did not lose their skill position. So there should be certain skills that you lose as you change positions. For instance, if you go from kicker to punter, obviously they both have good kicking and things like that. So, as a kicker, Nick Folk has a rating of 87, but as a punter, Nick Folk should have a lower rating, theoretically. And, Madden has implemented that, and I hope they continue to implement that, because what would happen on NCAA was that Notre Dame had a punter with the 99 kick power, but if you moved him to kicker, he would still have that 99 kick power, and that's definitely a huge problem. So those types of skills, I'm not sure exactly which all skills that would include. Definitely skills like kicking, skills that require techniques and things like that should definitely be taken into consideration, as well as awareness. Awareness isn't that big of a rating to me, besides a few positions like quarterback is big. But, maybe some of the positions on defense as well. But for the most part, you really don't need awareness to play wide receiver and other things like that. So that's not a big deal. But just to see it as a rating would be nice. And also, if you move guys from defense to offense that don't do it, there should just be dramatic declines. I'm thinking even declines in the areas of catching and things like that, since it's on the total opposite side of the field. But you guys let me know what you think about some of these ideas, about these secondary and third positions, where, again, the only major difference would be is that a player like Reggie Bush would have a secondary position of a wide receiver, or Randall Cobb would have a secondary position of running back. And when you move those players to those positions, there would be less of a decline in some of those skills that they're losing if you, were to say move a random player. And also, it would also give you the availability to put Randall Cobb at halfback, because, it would be a secondary position. So instead of not being able to put him in your starting lineup at halfback, you could, he would be available, since it's his secondary position, to become a halfback. But let me know what you guys think about this. This is just an idea I'm throwing out there that EA could implement or could not. It could be completely ignored. But maybe I'm, going crazy here. But I just thought this idea would be good for all future football games. Simulation-wise, it would make the game better. Realistic-wise, it would make the game better. Skill-wise, it would make the game better. And it would give those guys that have knowledge about real football and things like that a competitive advantage somewhat, because you would know which guys can do what, which guys are having these secondary roles, and you'll be able to use them accordingly. But I think I've ranted on long enough. NCAA is going to be coming out tonight, so, clean up your house, read your books, finish them up, finish up that TV series that you've been trying to finish, get everything done by the time this NCAA drops tonight, if you plan on getting the game. That way, when it comes, you don't have to worry about nothing else. I generally like to clean the house before I get a game, before midnight release, and do all my chores and errands and all that stuff. Get all that out the way, take care of your date or your significant other or whoever it may be. Handle all that before the game comes out. That way, when you get the game, you can lock and load, practice, do your, hour straight sessions or not, whatever's healthy. But just remember, it is a video game, so don't go, losing your good health, physical health. Definitely get some physical exercise, and honestly, I think physical exercise does help you become a better player. Just helps you think better and process things. But needless to say, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and, let me know what you think in the comments below. It's just an idea that came across my head. Thought I would share it with you guys, and I'm looking forward to NCAA tonight. I have been playing the new early release, and it's been quite splendid. I have a list of what I believe to be the top 10 teams in the game. And, there are going to be some big names that missed the list, but there are some sleeper teams on the list as well. And if you guys want to, hear about that, let me know in the comments again below. But until the next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more NCAA 14 content. Going to be coming very soon here. And Madden 25 is right around the corner. So we are going to continue pushing strong, and we're going to continue, trying to give you guys all the tips, gameplays, and as much information as we can to give you guys that competitive edge without cheating. Keyword, without cheating. No blocking kicks, none of that nonsense. So I hope you guys enjoyed again, and it's about the 5th time I've said that. So I'm just going to cut this video off now. We gone.